In this video, I wanted to talk a little bit about external validation. And I want to talk about my struggles with it and how I'm actively working to overcome those struggles and reducing my need for external validation and more making it about how I feel and being my authentic, true self. And I know that I talked about this a little bit in my introduction video, but being criticized was something that was very frequent, something that I experienced a lot through, during my childhood, through authority figures, my stepfather, which really impacted me, and then my father on some other stuff, not as aggressively, but there was still a lot of high expectations there that I didn't feel like I was able to meet. And I didn't feel like they really respected my emotional autonomy and where I was coming from. Um, and a lot of these were kind of, um, they were shown through chores that I had to do, like cleaning. There was a point in my life where I had to wake up at 4:30 a.m. and sweep and mop my whole house, which was insane. Before I'd go to school, I'd have to sweep and mop every room, and then when I'd get home, I'd have to do the same thing. Um, I would have to clean and wipe down the bathroom with chemicals that I really shouldn't have been touching my age every day. I would go to school and I would have really bloodshot eyes. And it still kind of impacts it to this day because what I notice is that my eyes get red a lot, quite excessively, because of that. And when this stuff was happening, it really, nothing that I did was ever good enough. Um, I would do my best. I would sweep, I would mop, I would do all this stuff, and I would always get hit with, oh, you missed this spot. I want every spot to be perfect. I want every spot to be spotless. And knowing, at 11 years old, I wasn't able to do that. I couldn't. Um, and that need for perfection. I needed to be perfect. Everything needed to be perfect. Everything needed to be spotless. I needed to be an exact mold of what they wanted me to be. And I notice a lot of these comparisons with my dad also, not just at my stepfather. Um, I constantly struggle, even at work, I constantly struggle with the need to be perfect, with the need to go above and beyond, even if it kills me. And while I understand that the need to go above and beyond isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's a good thing, it's important. The need to be perfect, where you're constantly criticizing yourself because of the way that you were criticized, is the problem. And what would happen is I would go through phases at my job where I would be doing such a great job and I'd get constant praise, and then I'd be doing a good job and I wouldn't get any praise at all. And I was kind of expecting that, or there were times where I'd be doing a really good job, but I'd be hyper focused on the fact that, oh my God, I'm going to fuck something up. I'm going to screw something up, and then I'm going to get in trouble, and then I'm going to get fired, and then I'm going to lose my job, and all of this stuff. And for a long while, actually, I was constantly on edge about my work. I was constantly on edge, felt like I was walking on eggshells at my job, at home. Even when there was really no threat, I was kind of making a threat up because of what I experienced and how I'm conditioned to it, to kind of anticipate a threat, um, based on different events that I do or different things that I do, because of that, because I've been conditioned to do that. Um, Even now, and it's gotten better now that I've been, really looking at the reasons why I do that and how to overcome it. I still have my moments here. I'm going to be honest. I struggle with the dishes. That is something that was very traumatic for me, because of the way that I had to do them under my stepfather's roof. Um, and I struggle. And when I moved in with my dad, before my mother and my stepfather got divorced, I things got really bad, and I no longer felt safe there, and I had moved in with my dad's, and that was kind of a whole thing where I had to learn how to undo all of that, self-criticism, and it was triggering for me. And I used to argue with my dad a lot because I didn't know how to control that, because every single threat, every single criticism, I was constantly, on edge about it. And that's no way to live. And, it's unfortunate. And I maybe will go into this in future videos. My dad really wasn't the best at understanding um, the reasons why. He knew the trauma, he understood it, but he wasn't very good. My parents have this philosophy that you gotta just move on. If something bothers you, you just stop doing it. And well, sometimes that may be a good option. That's not always the best option. And my whole philosophy is understanding the psychology behind it. Why you have been conditioned to do the things that you do. Why? There's always a why. It could be stuff that your parents did. It could be stuff that your parents did that, when you were an infant, that you saw, but you can't, it's subconscious memories. And I feel like those 3 years where before my parents split up, my biological parents, um, I took in a lot. I don't remember a lot of it, but I hear a lot from stories that they would tell me. And I think I internalized a lot of that, which is the same thing that I do when I have an issue. Um, and it's kind of why I'm in this position now where I'm trying to make these videos to help people work through that to avoid what I went through. You know what I mean? Or if they're going through that, to help them understand that you're not alone and that there are plenty of other people going through this. That philosophy that you need to just stop doing something without understanding the true psychology behind it is probably worse than just not doing it, because if you just stop doing it, you tend to end up doing it again. And that's, that toxic generational cycle that I'm talking about. Same exact thing. My mother smokes cigarettes. She said many, many times that she wants to quit. And there were some points where she did quit in her life. But she ended up doing it again. And one second she says that she wants to quit, that she knows it's not healthy, but then the next second she says she loves smoking and she doesn't want to quit. And she doesn't care. So that kind of, if you don't get to the bottom of it, my grandmother used to smoke cigarettes all the time. She quit after a while, but my mother grew around watching my grandmother smoke cigarettes, and I think that's why that kind of security, because it offers security for her in a weird way. And she would never probably admit that, or maybe, she would, I don't know. But that is the psychology to it. I don't know her. I'm sure there's a lot more to that story. I only know what I know, and based on what I've heard from her and my grandmother, that's what I'm going to infer. That's just an example. If you get to the bottom of why you do the things that you do, why you do toxic things, why you have bad habits, healing that is going to help you not do it in the future, because then you know why it happened. And you can say, okay, this is why it happened, and this is the steps I'm going to take, whether it be therapy, whether it be mindfulness, whether it be meditation, whether it be spirituality. I mean, I know that a lot of the stuff that I went through, I use spirituality as a coping mechanism for a lot of it, and it's helped me. And in a weird way, it's helped me understand that I am not going crazy, that a lot of the stuff is meant to happen. So that's what you need to think. And I know that in this video, I've kind of gone off on a tangent here, but I think this is important, because what I hope is that, somewhere in this video, something that I say I hope will click with people who are watching this, whether it be now or 10 years from now. I don't know. It may just be something that I keep again. But it's important to understand the psychology of why. And my experience with my stepfather having to be perfect, having to get external validation is why I struggle with the things that I do and why I'm trying to overcome that need for external validation. And, I only need internal validation. My parents will say, well, not my mom, but my dad will be like, if I do something that he doesn't like, or if I do something that he doesn't agree with or goes against his moral values or whatever, he'll say, oh, that's weird. You're a weird fucking person. And I'm like, why should I care? Because that's the same type of mentality that was holding me back. And now that I'm actually starting to grow up and I'm starting to look at this life and realize that there's a lot more to that, I don't care. I don't. I don't care. Um, and I'm thankful I'm going through that at a young age. Um, so I'm going to end it here. Um, I think I've gone off on a lot, but I think this is important, like I said. And I will keep posting. And I will see you in the next video.